Hello everyone, welcome to the very first live stream with me, Tom, from The Honest Meeple. I'm just going to do a couple of checks to make sure this is working. It is working, the sound is working, that is excellent. So yeah, I am with you today to unbox and show you Fallout Shelter, brand new game from Fantasy Flight Games. It is essentially a fairly basic, mild worker placement. No, I say mild, wrong word. But kind of back to basics worker placement. And yeah, I just wanted to unbox it, tell you what it's all about, give you an idea of what the gameplay is like, and do a quick kind of overview, kind of my first play thoughts. So if we hopefully can switch the stream, there we go. So we have the Fallout Shelter box there. Now this is quite hard to get hold of now. The Fallout Shelter game has been massively popular, and it's sold out. I know it's been heavily allocated by Fantasy Flight. So if you can get a copy, do grab hold of it if you're after it, because it is selling out fast. I don't want to start this with a complaint, but it is a tin. Tins aren't really my jam. However, that doesn't detract from the game. So pop the lid there of Fallout Shelter, just so we know exactly what we're unboxing. So first off, you have the rulebook. Now this rulebook is a very neat little rulebook. Tells you all of the setup, gives you an idea of everything to expect from the game. How to get new dwellers, how to train them in certain skills and the stats, the special stats, and then also the threats that will be occurring each game, as well as the injured dwellers, and when the game ends, with a nice little icon referenced on the back. So I'll pop the instruction booklet there. So here you've got these are kind of the player dashboards. Think of them as your Pip Boys. These are where you fill up your resources. So very much like the app, of course this is based on the app. You have to collect resources by building different various different rooms within your shelter. You are the overseer, and your dwellers are working with you. In the box, you also have the resource cubes. So these resource cubes will go into the dashboards as and when you obtain them. There's loads in there. A neat little insert, I have to say, keeps everything nice and neat. So no concerns there. You also have the happiness tokens. These happiness tokens are the currency, I'd say, of the game. No, not the currency, the victory points of the game. These are the currency because you're going to buy rooms with them. These are the victory points. You'll earn these as you defeat threats. As you build rooms, the happiness will increase. And essentially the winner at the end of the game, when it ends, is the person with the most happiness points. You then have... Oh, actually, wait, let me find the... Because I foolishly put it in there. There is a first player token in there as well. I'll leave that. So then you have the cards. So these cards, or actually the right way around. So you start off with, I think that's all of them, yeah. So these cards here are your kind of starting hand, the starting rooms. I'll show you how to set it up in a minute, but you'll always start with these, and then you can see each space will have a cost. So on this one you can see in the red, it's got a cost, and then it also has a reward, what you gain from putting on that area there. So I'll show you how to set those up, but then you also have the rooms which you can build throughout. These rooms, if it's going to focus, please focus. No. These rooms you build, that is the build cost on here. So 2 water and 3 electricity, and they change throughout the game. But you can build all of these and they're going to give you more actions. Further down in the box, you have more cards. So these are the elevators. You'll know the elevators if you play the app. They let you go up and down the building. You have 1 for each player colour, plus a standard one. That also goes with the standard card, so I'll put that there for the moment. But yeah, they kind of you build them. You only start with 1. You can't build any more. That's it then. When you have yours there at the start, that's it. You then also have the threats. Now these are really cool plastic. If you play Gloom, the card game, very similar to this. They're transparent plastic cards, but these are the threats. So they essentially go over the rooms when they go into the shelter. So you can see that has a nice effect. So you can see the background closes off the action, but you can fight it. How do you fight the animals? I hear you cry. Well, if you look on here, they have a dice value. That dice value on this one is 9+. You have 2 dice, you roll the dice. If you get 9 or more, you're going to kill that monster. You're going to gain the happiness and a resource of your choice. If you don't roll the dice, you don't roll the 9 or whatever number you need, you're going to lose. You're going to get an injured dweller. They get put on their side, and that's them. Then you have to heal them in order to reuse that dweller again. Where are the dwellers, I hear you ask? Well, the dwellers are these really, really jazzy kind of little, really mini miniatures. They are absolutely tiny. I'm actually going to show you, if I flick back to this one here, I want to show you that if it's going to focus on it. Ooh, no, it's not. It's not going to focus on it, so we'll switch back to the mainstream. But that is they're kind of like mini Fallout Boys, not Fallout Boys. I can't remember, the bobbleheads, what are they called? I can't remember. But they are your dwellers, and you'll use those. I believe there's 9 available throughout the game. You start off with 2. However, there are rooms where you can get them. So, for example, on this card here, you can see with that action there on the vault door, you get more dwellers. So, that's everything you get in the box. As I say, nice little insert. Everything you need. I'm tempted to kind of size this down and get it out of tin. As I say, I'm not a big fan of a tin, but you know, that's just me. But I'm going to show you a quick kind of idea of how this plays and how easy it is. So you set up the shelter by putting the vault door, vault entrance. So you have 3 cards either side, and the elevator goes into the centre there. And then you have, there's little numbers on these spaces, and I'll tell you why they're relevant in a minute. But you just make sure they're all in order. So you can see there, you have the vault all set up. You then, let's say we're playing a 2-player game, we're going to play with yellow and blue. You then put in any order you want, doesn't matter, doesn't change the gameplay at all. You then put the yellow one there, and the blue one there. Then you are all set up to start your first game. You will take your two, let's get so you start with your 2 dwellers, blue and yellow. You obviously have them standing up. If they're on their side, they are injured. You have to heal them. I'll show you how to heal injured in a minute. So you take your first dweller, and let's say I fancy, let's just ignore those as well because you wouldn't have any resources to begin with. Let's say I want to get a new dweller on my first go. So I could go here, and I'd take 2 food and place it onto my dashboard. Do note that you can't overfill this. Once you've filled it, that's it. There's no more. Let me pull these up a bit here. Once you've filled it, that's it. So let's say the yellow player wants a water. They'll get a water and place that on there. Now, interestingly, you're probably asking, what are the letters? The letters are used as kind of a special. If you place a dweller with that ability, with that skill, you're going to get double the amount of resources shown on the card. So let's say I want the blue there because I know I want to get another dweller. So I put that there. Every time you place something, you gain the resource instantly. So if I had another dweller now, I could put it on that space and I'd get the new dweller ready for the next go. I can't use it straight away. But this dweller, let's say you wanted to get double the amount of food next go. And as you can see, there's an A there. I could place this dweller onto there. Now, when we collect and return the dwellers, I now get to place that on one of the special stats. So we're all finished, we've got everything, so I take that back. However, this one, I'm going to say I want to put it on A. So now, with that A skill, I can now get double the amount on the thing. So now I've had to wait for my second go with blue in order to get my new dweller. So I'm going to go straight there, pay my 3 food, and then the new dweller will sit on top like that. The yellow player isn't hanging about. They are going to get 4 food because they've used the dweller that was on the A. They've got that food, and instantly they can then decide to use that in the next go. Now, I've just realised I'm saying that this player has already used this one, so we didn't really need the 3 food. However, he can still go there because he has a water and a food. He pays those, but as you can see, the cost here also has an injured dweller. That means that you have to injure him in order to put your dweller at the top there. Then the blue player has this. Let's say they want, like there. And this has just reminded me, they can't go there. This has reminded me, you also have items and the rooms. You make the tracks of these, so there'll be three items available. I love how I have all the dogs at the top. I found out there were dogs in this game, and Adele went mental. She was like, what? I want all the dogs. They're not very helpful, to be fair, as items. We'll just lay, I'll tell you what, we'll move the instruction manual and we'll lay the items out here. So those are the first 3 items. So if I was to use the item thing here, let's just pretend I've got a water. So I'd go here, I would pay my 1 cube of water, and then I get to select one of these from the deck. So let's take a plasma pistol, and then I can use that. Fairly basic use, these item cards. Most of them are, you exhaust them. So most of the weapons, you exhaust them, you get an extra value added onto your dice when you roll to attack the threats. Same thing applies for buildings as well. You have 3 I won't make the tracks for those, but there'll be three room cards out available. Now, if I was to spend 2 water, I could go on this space here. That allows me to refresh the item track and then take an item. So there's also a room one for that. So, finish that go. One thing I haven't covered, which is a bit naughty, because you should do it apart from your first go, on your second go and every go henceforth, at the start of the turn, you roll the 2 dice. Oh, if I can get them out. So you roll the 2 dice, and you can see there I've got a 9. You'll take the top threat from the deck, and you will look for the number. So each of these are numbered. You've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 7 can never have a threat put on it. Everything else on these top level, apart from the last 2 spaces, can have this put on there. So in this case we've rolled a 9, so that threat will go over the top. Now that blocks out that action, and now you have to fight it to get rid of that threat, and you'll obtain the reward from that. So let's say I go here, I'm going to use my item. So the plasma pistol allows me to exhaust it, and I get +2 to my roll. So I only really need to roll a 7 now. I roll it, and of course my rolling is rubbish, so I get a 5. Unfortunately, because of that, my dweller is exhausted. No one can challenge that threat now until the next go, once we've returned the dwellers. But there are numerous amounts. So again, in keeping with the theme of the game, you've got raiders, you've got mole rats, you've got feral ghouls. Power outage is a really cool card, look at that. Glowing one, rad roaches, they are annoying. And then you also have fire and the rad scorpions. So yeah, as I say, if you're familiar with the app, this game will look very similar. But that is kind of the basics of this game. So if I just load these up here. Okay, so we'll do this one here. So the yellow player has found out they've got enough money to buy this room. So they're going to place their dweller on this space here. The little red symbol above the action space dictates you must pay the cost for that card. In this case, it's 2 water and 3 power, which we can pay. And then you get to place this anywhere, either side, but it obviously has to be connected to the elevator, or if there's another room there, onto that room. So we're going to place it here. And now that opens that up for people to use. Now, obviously, it's free for the yellow player to use that. The blue player can use it. However, it's going to allow the yellow player to take an extra resource of their choice from the supply. Not from the player that's playing the piece on it, just from the supply. So don't worry if you're the blue player and you want to use it, you're not going to have resources taken away from you. You're just going to give the other player an advantage, essentially. So that's a nice little income variant. But obviously, because the yellow player has built the room, you can see there, they built the room, and they get 2 happiness points. You'll continue play. Play will keep going in order. Placing all your workers. Once you've finished placing your workers, you'll return them. Obviously, you get all the benefits from the spaces as you go along. One thing here, you can see that is the first player token. You will get the first player token when you've taken it. Once you've gone in that space, you'll take the first player token. So that's how you switch the first player around in this game. Around in this game. And then obviously once you return your dwellers, you then have the round begins with the threat phase with the cards. And that is a very, very quick overview and kind of how to play of Fallout Shelter, the board game. So if we go back to me, as I say, I really like Fallout Shelter. I think it's one of the best Fallout games, but ports to a board game there has been. I know there have been a few Fallout games in the past, and I've played one of them. It really didn't hit the mark for me, and I don't think it has with many Fallout fans. This is obviously not Fallout. It's based on the app, the Fallout Shelter app, so it's not kind of up there for real die-hard Fallout fans. However, I like Fallout. I've played most of the Fallouts. Obviously, my personal favourite has been Fallout 3. I did like Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4 was good, but I remember when I was younger playing Fallout 3 and I was just blown away by that game. So naturally, when Fallout Shelter came out, I tried it out. I was like, oh yeah, this is quite neat, running your own shelter. It was cool. So when I saw they'd done a board game, I was a bit apprehensive at first. However, I think the worker placement element works really nicely with this, because that is very much what you're doing in the app. You're placing workers, but using their special stats in order to get the best kind of income in terms of resources possible. You're not going to put someone with a really low strength value into the power plant, because that's not going to yield much power at all. If they have a high charisma, you're going to put them in either the bedroom with a lady friend to reproduce, or you're going to put them into like the radio station building. There's lots of elements of that in the app, and this is brought nicely into a board game format. It is very simple. If you haven't played many worker placement games, but you like the Fallout theme and you're looking at ways to kind of get into the board gaming hobby kind of nicely, this is a really good place to start. Highly recommended for those that have just started out. I think it's quite suited for the younger audience as well. It's not the Fallout that you know in terms of the 18 plus Fallout 4 game. It is a kind of cartoony equivalent. So yeah, definitely suitable for kids, and because of the simplicity of it, it's going to kind of go quite nicely for them. They're going to understand it. It's not too difficult. It can get competitive at times because you're going to block things off, and of course you could open rooms up that you know other people want to use. For example, when we were playing the other night, Adele and I had a load of injured dwellers. Adele had a load of injured dwellers, but I just built a med bay. I think it's the med bay, but built that into my row. I was the first player, so of course I kept going into the elevator to heal my dweller, which meant every time she put hers into my med bay, I was getting income. So there's different ways you can strategize. It's not going to be the same old. The way the threats work is really nice as well. It is random. It is a dice roll. But again, that's just kind of the selection of the threats. The thing that might pull back negatively on that is the fact that it's luck-based in terms of whether you can defeat it. This isn't a heavy game, you know. I don't think it really made a difference. It actually made it quite fun rolling the dice and hoping that you kill a rad scorpion. But yeah, the items fit in really nicely. They're all the ones that you'll be familiar with. This is a really nicely put together game. I think my one big gripe is the tin. I don't like tins, so I may look at getting a different box for it. And yeah, I definitely think this is the best Fallout game to come out, really, in terms of its target market and what it aims to achieve. It does all of that. It does what it says on the tin. How about that? Fallout Shelter, the board game, does what it says on the tin. But yes, that is Fallout Shelter. As I say, if you are by any way a kind of a Fallout buff and you do want to get hold of this, then do please go and find it now, because it will sell out. I got mine from Firestorm Cards. Big shout out to Jimmy who runs Firestorm Cards. Super quick dispatch, super quick delivery as always. So yeah, do go and frequent his site. I do think they had stock last time I looked anyway. But yeah, that is it for me on our first YouTube live. I know. Let me know what you think of this, guys. If you like these live videos, I can do more of them. I can change them up. I find it much easier to kind of go through games and how to play live rather than recording it. It seems slicker for me personally. So if you want to see how to plays, fire me some questions or some ideas down in the comments, and I'll try and get on to doing some how to plays. I will be doing more unboxings on this format as well. I know I've done a couple on YouTube, on Instagram Live. It's alright. Instagram's a pain though, because while I can kind of broadcast through, so the software that I use to broadcast onto here, there's no way that you can broadcast onto Instagram Live through that. There is a way, but I don't like it because it's a bit dodgy. So yeah, I'm probably going to stick with YouTube Live. So if you like this, please let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Just say, yes, Tom, we love it. Keep going. But yeah, that is everything from me. I hope you've enjoyed. Have a great weekend, everyone. Keep an eye on Instagram. I have a giveaway closing on Monday for everyone in the EU. Apologies, everyone else. I just can't justify the shipping at the moment, especially with everything that's going on. I would hate for if you were to win, sending a parcel out and it getting lost. That is the last thing I want, and I just can't guarantee it with the current climate. However, that's not to say there won't be another giveaway. You heard it here first. After Sushi Roll has been given away, there will be another giveaway pretty sharpish after that has closed. So keep your eyes peeled to be the first one to find out about that. Yeah, do let me know what you're up to this weekend. I am soon heading off and joining Nick from Board Deck and Dice, and his mate Mark, and I believe there was Simon Brass joining us as well. You'll know him from the Zatu Lives. Yeah, we are going to be doing a bit of gaming this evening, obviously virtually. Do go check out my videos on how to play virtually if you're intrigued. And yeah, I just hope you have a good weekend. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. And as always, I will see you all. I'm just getting my computer ready to press the button next time. See you guys.